Yoo-hoo! What's going on, everybody? How are you today? Coffee with Bros. It's Wednesday. It's a hump day. The week's flying because, of course, Monday Night Football really puts you in a whole new week and it puts you in a whole new flow of things. We have Nick Sirianni speaking today. We have the Phillies basically losing, and now their playoff hopes that were very, very small have pretty much been diminished. What else is there? The Ben Simmons drama. This guy's a fool. He's a clown. He continues to make excuses. Now, first it was Doc Rivers in the comments. Then it was the fan base. Then it was something else. Now it's the fact that he doesn't want to play with Joel Embiid. I mean, it's over and over and over again on this bullshit of something new and something different. And it's like, well, I can't do it. No, you can't shoot a basketball, Ben. You can't shoot a basketball. That's reality of the situation. It's actual coffee day. Is that true? Is it like National Coffee Day? Let's find out. It's national something every day. National Coffee Day 2021. Get free coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin'. What? What? National Coffee. What? What? No way. Are you for real? Good morning. It's National Coffee Day already. This is from Panera. Well, I need to go get some coffee. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Well, that just threw me in for a loop. I don't even know how to process my life. Hold on. We're going to have to tweet something. We got to tweet out the show anyway to let people know we are live. We are live. Coffee with Bros, 9 a.m. And I just found out it's free coffee at Starbucks. Join me for some fun. What that? So, hi, how do we feel? How do we feel? What's up, everybody? What's happening? Robert, what's up, bros? I was at the game in Dallas. Dude, it was brutal. Ben Simmons, leave Philly already. Good to see you, bro. What's happening, Robert? What's going on? I'm sure that was a cool experience, though. I mean, I don't know how many games you get to catch in Dallas, if that's something that you do every year, if that's something you do every other year. I don't know. I mean, some people make Dallas like their trip where they have that scheduled every single season, you know? So if that's the case, like, that's awesome. But it's depressing. It definitely is to see the game play out that way. I mean, it hurts the soul. It hurts the heart. They weren't even close. And by the way, we will have we're going to have another Eagles podcast up today. I'm waiting for Nick Sirianni to speak around noon. It's either noon or 12:30. And after he speaks to the media, we're going to react to what he says. I still have so much to say just from my own personal thoughts on that game, even diving into it more. Isaac Seumalo, that loss is massive. I have a shit ton of anytime hotline calls to really get through as well. So we're going to have like a reactionary to the press conference and to the game as well from the night of. It'll be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it. Good morning, man. What's happening? Well, the season's pretty much over. Unfortunately, you are correct. Can you give us anything to look forward to in the future? Dave Dombrowski. If Dave Dombrowski makes the right decisions and moves and makes the proper moves, then I have faith in Dave Dombrowski. There's your positivity. Dave Dombrowski. We are live. We are live. Nope. What? Nope. Coffee with Bros. Why do I keep saying it like that? Coffee with Bros. Live. 9 a.m. And I just found out it's free coffee at Starbucks. There's free coffee today at Starbucks. Eagles. Philly season over. Ben and more. Join the fun. That's a good tweet. Yeah, we'll take it. Cover Bros. I don't know. Okay. Carter Hart looked good last night. Yeah, there's some positives for it. I thought Carter Hart did look good. I thought there was something to be said about Carter Hart last night. Yeah, I can get behind that. I can get behind that. I like what he did. He looked smooth. I wasn't diving insanely deep into the Flyers preseason game. I had Phillies on the main TV, and then on the top left, I went with the Flyers, a little Jim Jackson, a little Keith Jones. It's nice just to hear their voices for sure, no doubt about it. So, I just had it on as background noise during commercial, peeked up, looked up. Zamula scores a goal. There was a nice wraparound by, what's his name? Shushko? Shushko? He had a bingo there on the wraparound to tie the game up, and then they lost in overtime. I thought Carter Hart was solid, though, and I anticipate seeing Carter Hart take a better step than he did last year. No doubt about it. Last year was a disgrace. That's not Carter Hart. It was a product that was in front of him defensively that was snowballed into him being miserable. I don't anticipate him being anywhere close to the level of what we saw last season. You don't like to join the fun? Yeah, but we're having fun here. You're right. We are in so much, but here's why it's different. We're in pain. It's bad. It feels awful, but we're together. We're together, and we're talking about it. We're talking through it. We're having fun conversation. But you're right. It isn't a blast right now, that's for sure. Wheeler did what he could do to hold the Braves. I agree with that. Our bats didn't come alive when needed. Morton was tough, though. Yeah, Morton had a good day at the office for sure. He had 10 strikeouts, 7 innings. I think it came down to, obviously, you had the chance in the first when the game started off. Odubel Herrera and Gene Segura got on base. Bryce Harper moved them over. It was first and third. And then you couldn't get JT to get a contact. And then Brad Miller got out. From there in the fourth inning, there were a couple 2-out walks. Didi Gregorius up. He wasn't able to execute. And then the ninth inning, which, once again, I'm sure you all saw by now on Twitter or whether it's in my post-game show, but I had no problems with what Joe Girardi did. I'm not going to lose my mind as if Joe Girardi is the dumbest individual in the world for doing what he did. Your team is not good, is what it comes down to. Your team is not good. You're asking him to be a miracle worker. You're asking him to put in a guy to save the season that was so bad he had to be removed from the team. That's the obvious choice? Okay, well then, I don't know what baseball is then, if that's the obvious choice. It's a choice. I just don't know if it's the obvious one. Good game last night to your Phils. Wheeler was dealing besides one inning. Yeah, he struggled in the third a little bit, and that's unfortunately where the Braves were able to cash in and score a couple runs. Morton was built for moments like that. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's what he does. You pick up a veteran. You pick up Charlie Morton. You watch his resume, and you see what he did in Houston. You watch what he does. Like, that's what he does. That's a veteran guy who went out there and he deals. He deals in a big, high situation. So did Zach Wheeler, and you knew that you'd have to score some runs. You just couldn't. And then one time you do, it's because of a freaking misplay out there by Rosario. My mouth dropped to the floor when I saw that happen. No lie. I see the hit by Matt Vierling. It was decent contact, right? I mean, it was smooth off the bat, but you see the, outfielder running, tracking it down, and it hits the top of the glove. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. We know this season's weird. We know this season's out there. Maybe there's something to it. Just maybe. Just maybe. I was on here a few days ago, and we both agreed that we were done, yet not mathematically done. Now I can officially say my heart is broken yet again because they sucked me back in. Well, I mean, you should have known, right? I mean, you said it yourself. A few days ago, we both agreed we were done. Well, then why would you feel differently about this series? Like, you should have seen this coming. This isn't a shocking result, right? I mean, I don't know. I could see it just because the way the season played out, that they win tonight, and then they get your hopes up for game 3, but then they lose game 3. There's a sense of urgency tonight. Maybe they win 5-4, and then they lose on Thursday or something along those lines. But I don't know how you can have your heart broken again and get sucked back in because You stated it right from a few days ago. We both knew. Nothing was going to change by game 156 or whatever the hell they're at right now. So it is what it is, It is what it is. Take these meaningful moments, the last game, and just embrace it and say that's the closest to playoff baseball that we've been in the last 10 years. So it's not what we want, but it's what we got, kind of thing. Yeah, it's something, though. I'll tell you that. It's something. Heard that there's interest in Ben from a Western Conference team. There's interest in Ben around the entire league. Minnesota Timberwolves, Cleveland Cavaliers. There's a lot of teams involved in this, okay? People are calling Daryl Morey. You want to say that, well, who's going to want Ben? Do you see the way? People are going to want Ben. Just like with James Harden. Who's going to want that nonsense? Just like Kyrie Irving. Who's going to want that nonsense? Just like, hell, the Los Angeles Lakers and Russell Westbrook. Who the hell is going to want Russell Westbrook and that contract? These players get moved around. Who wants Al Horford's contract? These players get moved around. People are going to want Ben Simmons with or without the jump shot, with or without this nonsense that he's playing out right now. Because teams are going to look at it as, he doesn't really feel this way. This is all just nonsense to get out of town to get a fresh start. So whatever's being leaked, the information being said, Rich Paul, he tells them, whoever he's speaking to on the other side, don't worry about what you hear. Don't worry about what's leaked to the Athletic. It's us. We're just trying to accomplish our goal. So don't take it too seriously. Don't take it too literally. We'll be fine when we get to your city. We'll be fine when we get to the destination we get to when we're done with this drama, right? So that's kind of how it all gets played out. Broads, I don't care about last night's loss. It's only preseason. I believe this team has great and will beat teams like the Islanders this year. Bring the cup to Broad. Oh, yeah, I don't think anybody's upset with the actual finish in terms of the scoreboard by any means. You were just looking to see if they, just to watch them get some up and down the ice. It didn't matter. Yeah, the first period, they were a little bit flat. They looked better after that. But, yeah, no one's actually looking at the result as if the result really means anything for this game. You had a lot of guys that won't even be playing in the NHL this year on that roster, playing in the back half of the lines and whatnot. So, but all around, it was just nice to see the puck fly around, some sauces being thrown. Dude, I have the biggest mosquito bite on my hand, and I can't stop fucking scratching it, and it's killing me right now. It's absolutely killing me right now. But, yeah, it was fun just to watch the guys get back out there. Yeah, I agree, Danny. Wheeler pitched solid, man. 7 innings. 7 innings. And how many Ks did he finish with? 7, maybe? I have it written down here at some point. He finished with, 7 Ks, 7 innings, 93 pitches. The only reason why he had to get yanked is because you needed offense. You needed offense. And his bat was in the order. It was in the top of the lineup there, and you had to go try and squeeze out some runs somehow. So that's the only reason why he had to get yanked out of there. Braves play the Mets after the Phils, so maybe if the Phillies can get the last 2. Oh, yeah. Pat, if the Phillies win the next 2, they're still involved in this thing. No doubt about it. I just don't see that happening at this point. You needed to win the game with Wheeler. Now you're demanding Aaron Nola in a must-win situation in September to close the door. I don't know. That's a really tough ask. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just don't feel the percentage is very high. And then Kyle Gibson. I heard Tyrone Johnson of Mikey Michaud, the producer, he mentioned that he would throw Ranger Suarez. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd throw Ranger Suarez in there. I don't know. It's his normal rest because of the off day on Monday. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to bitch and complain about Ranger Suarez or Kyle Gibson. But, yeah, I mean, regardless is the fact that in a must-win situation with your season on the line, those are your options. Don't make me feel really good about things. Isn't it a coincidence that the first game Sixers play against the Raptors in Toronto? Why would that be a coincidence? What's the coincidence? Just because 2 years ago they played in a playoff series? Is that the coincidence? Bro, it's over, under on years until we see a playoff game settling in at 8.5. What? 8.5 more Philly seasons? Is that what you're saying? Bro, it's over under on years until we see a playoff game for the Phils. 8 more? Oh my, could you imagine? That would be devastating. Devastating. You don't even know. You don't even know how this fan base would react towards John Middleton if this lasts more than 8 years. 8 more years added to the $5 billion that we've already experienced. No way. Can't have it. Bro, do you think the Flyers can win the Cup this year? I know it's only preseason, but we made some great moves. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to actually win the Stanley. That's a hard thing to do. They put themselves in a better position than they were in last year, considering all the veterans and the quality leadership that they added to the roster. Now, unfortunately, you're starting the season without Kevin Hayes, and that's a major loss. I think they have a lot of versatility up the middle for them to maybe squeeze through 10 games until he returns. But keep in mind, he's battling injury from last season. He had surgery. Now he had another surgery. It's going to take him time, even after those 10 games, 9 games are up, for him to have some rhythm. But with Claude Giroux, with Scott Lawton, with Derek Brassard, and Morgan Frost, Nate Thompson, there's ways to get around this center position for the first handful of games of the year. There's no denying. I think they have some depth there. I mean, I don't know. Can they win the Stanley Cup? I don't know. That's a very difficult thing to say. But I think they're going to be a good team, a competitive team, and they should make the playoffs. And if you make the playoffs in the NHL, you have any opportunity to go win a Stanley Cup. So they should be making the playoffs. Chris says, Ben's crew won't be satisfied until the 76ers burn to the ground. No, until Ben Simmons is out. That's all. All this stuff about Ben wanting to play where he can be the second coming of Giannis just makes his contract even more toxic. Not real. They don't care about the Sixers burning to the ground. They have one goal. Their only goal is to get Ben out of there. Once Ben is out of there, they don't give a damn about the 76ers. Ben doesn't care. I mean, sure, internally, would they want them to fail miserably? Probably. Yeah, Ben probably would. Rich Paul, maybe not, considering Tyrese Maxey would be sliding into the starting point guard role, and that's his client. So now his client stepping in and thriving at the point guard position. So Rich Paul has other players that he represents that are on the Philadelphia 76ers. That's now getting an advanced role in his career where, you have to think of it from that aspect too, where, okay, what's Tyrese Maxey's contract going to look like when things get better? What can he make? What's the identity of Tyrese Maxey moving forward? So not really burning to the ground. They just want Ben out, and at all costs, they will get Ben Simmons out, and that's what it's all about. It's been 10 years since we've seen playoffs. And with the way the team looks as of right now, would you consider trading anyone, including Harper? Well, Bryce Harper is not getting traded. Okay. I mean, it's not happening. Yeah. I mean, everybody else is on the table for sure. Rhys Hoskins, Aaron Nola, Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto. If I can get out of that contract, I absolutely would. You'd, of course, have to pick up a better catcher, not better than JT. I'm just saying better than Andrew, Knapp, and Marchand. You'd have to look in another direction. But yeah, I'd make some major tweaks. The Flyers made some major moves this year because they kept running it back with the same squad, and they were stuck. This team is stuck. This team needs to get over the hump. Yeah, I would look into making some serious changes. Now, Bryce Harper probably won't enjoy watching a JT Realmuto trade. But at the end of the day, if I'm Dave Dombrowski, I'm calling Bryce Harper into my office, and I'm going, in a very respectful way, look, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We're going to have to look at this. We're going to have to make some moves. We're going to have to change some things. We need to make some tweaks. But they would have done that at the deadline. I don't see that happening. I don't see them. See, Dave Dombrowski's probably going, we're close. Reese, JT, Segura, Bryce. That works. Didi just needs to have a better season. Who do we find at third? Who do we find in the outfield? Who do we find in the starting rotation? Who do we find for the bullpen? That's probably more realistic. That's probably the road they go down. Dave Dombrowski was brought in here to win. He wasn't in here to rebuild and do a 5-year Matt Klentak. So with that being said, he's going to assess this with winning in mind and snapping that playoff streak in mind. Rate the Phillies and Braves deadline editions. I love the work, Big Dog, by the way. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I mean, with what the Phillies were, like the Phillies were in a spot where I wanted them to sell. I was demanding them to sell Andrew McCutchen. He's on the deal where basically the club is going to eliminate that contract next year. He had decent power numbers that could, in an AL team, maybe go DH or something and just give you a bat. Andrew McCutchen, veteran presence for a playoff run. That's not a disastrous pickup. So I wanted them to trade Andrew McCutchen. I wanted them to trade Aaron Nola. I wanted them to trade Rhys Hoskins. They didn't. And I figured by default, just because they were technically close to the division lead, not because they were good, just because of where they were with the division lead, that they would buy. And with giving up Spencer Howard, who's not the greatest in the world, and getting Kyle Gibson, Hans Kraus, and getting what they got, it was like, okay. They got a tiny bit better. They got a tiny bit better. And Kyle Gibson's here for next season as well, which will improve the back end of the starting rotation for you for a following season. So they gave up for, this is what I don't like, though. Like, I had no faith in Spencer Howard. I thought he was basically toast. But, to give up your number one prospect, your number one pitching prospect for a veteran fourth, fifth starter type of guy, it just shows you, like, this team is a disaster. But anyway, even if I thought Spencer Howard wasn't going to be anything great, it's just the mentality of, you're giving up on a young 20-year-old pitching player for a fifth starter, a fourth starter in Major League Baseball. It's just really a horrendous spot to be in. But with the Braves, if I were the Braves, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have bought. And good for them for doing it, and it sparked them, and it helped them out big time maneuver through a lot of these injuries, but I definitely would not have bought. But good for them. They did something I wouldn't have. Broge, which player is I think I'd rather have Ben Simmons than Kyrie Irving. I honestly mean that. And there was a time, like 2 weeks ago, I would have probably not have said that. That's, this Kyrie Irving thing, this Ben Simmons thing, too. I'm just saying. How the hell can you trust a Kyrie Irving? Right? You can't. I'd rather Ben Simmons than Kyrie Irving. Just crazy. Well, I don't know if they're going to go after Correa. Would I love Correa on this baseball team? Absolutely. Dave Dombrowski has a big offseason ahead of him. There's a lot of assessing. There's going to be a lot of teams in on Correa. And I'll tell you what, I bet you his destination's not going to be Philadelphia. Not because of us, not because of the city. I'm saying if you can look around Major League Baseball and think about who gives me a good chance of winning a championship, I bet you one of the last teams he's looking at are the Philadelphia Phillies. But, sometimes money speaks. But then maybe you overpay a guy. You just overpaid JT Realmuto. You just overpay. Like, I don't want to deal with this Chris Bryant. Now, Correa could play, all right? I'm just saying. This team, if we go after Chris Bryant and spend a lot of money on him for his name recognition, now you're overpaying probably Chris Bryant. Now you're overpaying JT Realmuto. What you have are a bunch of 30-year-old guys getting overpaid. I don't know if that's your best option either. Yeah, but see, I don't have a problem with him not budging over the tax. He's spending plenty of money. He's spending enough money to win. It's not as if John Middleton was not spending enough money, I would say that. If he was like, hey, I'm not giving you an open checkbook. If he tells a president of baseball operations, or if he tells a general manager, I'm giving you to the luxury tax to build me a championship team, every GM and president of baseball operations would foam out the mouth in excitement. The Tampa Bay Rays would fall over and collapse of excitement. John Middleton is spending plenty of money. It's just how they're spending it. So once they screw up a billion times, I can't demand the owner of the team to say, like, you know what? Your president of your GM fucked up so much that I need you to spend $100 million more. I need you to spend $80 million more. Like, no, at some point, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. He's spending plenty of money. The money spent can win you a championship. The total number of dollars spent can win you a championship. I don't know about Eflin. I don't feel great about. I said this yesterday, or maybe it was 2 days ago, and there were some comments left that this starting five would be good next year. I don't want just it wouldn't be good. I mean, we've seen this, but Wheeler, Nola, Eflin, Gibson, Suarez. I mean, it's not horrendous. It's not. It's not a horrendous starting five, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. You're overvaluing what these guys bring. You're overvaluing Eflin. You're overvaluing Nola. You're overvaluing Kyle Gibson. Gibson's a 4 ERA pitcher who's having a nice season. And you could tell over the last handful of starts of his that he hasn't been the same 2 ERA, 2.8, 2.5, 2.7 ERA pitcher. I mean, come on now. Oh, by the way, in that trade for Spencer Howard, they picked up Ian Kennedy too, which has been helping you out close out games. And he's had his moments. He's had his bad moments, but he's had some decent moments as well. But he's only here for this season, just to put it in perspective on when we were analyzing what the Braves did at the deadline and what the Phillies did as well. That was a big part of it, of grabbing a closer, and then Hector Neris was able to solidify a nice role there and get himself going. And since we're on the topic of the Phillies and the Braves, listen to this right now. I don't need to tell you how big this series is. This could very well decide the season. It basically has, unless tonight goes in favor of the Phillies. It gives us a little bit more life. Now, if you want to make the action even more interesting tonight, WinView is the app for you. You can play pregame contests where you answer your questions before the game or play along live, unlike any other app out there. Right now, there's a progressive jackpot promotion above $3,000. All you need to do is make 10 correct predictions in those Braves-Phillies pregame contests, and you win a share of the jackpot. This is not daily fantasy. This isn't a sports book. Just questions about the Phillies. Get the app now, winview.tv/Broads. You're not going to want to miss this golden opportunity. The jackpot, $3,000. It's a no-brainer. It's so much fun. You just answer questions. It's cool. I can't stop scrolling around in games and just looking around the app nonstop. I'm sitting there last night. I had Phils. I had Flyers. I'm scrolling through the WinView app. It's so damn fun. I'm telling you, I wouldn't tell you a lie. All I do is tell you the truth. Check it out. All the information is down below in the description. All this Sirianni crap will go away if the Eagles win the next. Hawk, what are you watching? The Kansas City Chiefs, the Carolina Panthers, Thursday Night Football, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're winning the 3 next games. By the way, Kansas City coming off of 2 losses. Probably really focused. Probably really determined. Explain this to me on how, what? Huh? Who? What? Huh? I can't do it. I can't do it. If Hurts struggles against, this is classic. If Hurts struggles against the Panthers in week 5, I think that shows you what you have in your quarterback. Yeah, but like, what do you throwing Joe Flacco? Like, playing Joe Flacco does nothing. Playing Gardner Minshew does nothing. Playing these other quarterbacks mean nothing. You're trying to play with Jalen Hurts this season for 17 weeks. So that's what it comes down to. This season is about Jalen Hurts. If he struggles in week 5, he struggles in week 5. If he struggles in week 6, he struggles in week 6. I know what Joe Flacco is. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn about Gardner Minshew because he's not the future of your franchise either, no matter what you want to convince yourself right now after I say that statement. He's not the future of your franchise. Joe Flacco's not the future of your franchise. And maybe Jalen Hurts isn't either. If I'm a betting man right now sitting here today, I'm telling you no. No, he's not. But this season was all about him playing. So 5 games is not a big enough sample size for me, even though I would be leaning in a certain direction. You basically have a stretch right now of all winning teams, and your squad is not very good, and your head coach is struggling at the moment. So there's a lot of variables in this. You're getting zero help, a struggling quarterback, not running the ball at all and dropping back to throw to try and have a shootout against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it really does make no sense at all what the game plan was, which is putting your quarterback in a position to fail. So it's really hard to analyze when that is the case. It's painful, very painful. I don't understand what they were doing. And here's what now all the blame's going back to Howie. We're doing that, right? Like, oh, this is all because of Howie. We knew at the end of last year that this team needed a change. Did you expect that change to happen overnight? Did you expect everything to just flip in one snap of the fingers? Yeah, we already acknowledged that last year there were some issues, and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie had some issues that resulted in poor Eagles football. That's still happening. Like, that is still, look, yeah, we already established that. So now Risa, Howie, get him out of here. He didn't fix it. You expected him to fix everything? 6 wins. They were set at 6 wins. We knew this. This is still part of that. This is still part of what we saw last year when we said that, yeah, this is a problem on Howie and Jeff. But it takes time. That doesn't just happen. So now that we're here, like, oh, they messed up again. No, this is still part of them messing up. And we know that they're still here. So they're going to need time to fix the mess, just like anybody else who would come in here to fix the mess. It takes time. It's crazy. What? Howie Roseman calling plays? What? What are we doing here? Nick Sirianni's on the sidelines. What are we doing here? Because Minshew isn't good. What are you saying? This season is about Jalen Hurts. This is the nonsense. Like, oh, Gardner Minshew. Guess what? This is the thing. When if Jalen Hurts fails, and you know by week 9, you're drafting a quarterback next year. You're trading for the quarterback down in Houston into Deshaun Watson. You're not going to play Gardner Minshew and go, ooh, let's not use any of our assets next year so we can stick with Gardner Minshew to see if he's your franchise. Fuck no. Gardner Minshew, thanks for the cheap money. You're going to be having your ass chilling on the bench for years to come when you're in Philadelphia as a cheap backup. You're utilizing all of your assets next year to go get a quarterback. Gardner Minshew is irrelevant. He's irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. Gardner Minshew. Come on, man. It's insane. Well, no one who was intelligent. You had people who just run off of emotions because they're a fan. And that's fine. I'm not going to tell you when you're a fan you can't root for your team. But every time Sunday rolls around, the 17-week schedule, if you say they're going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win, you're just running off of raw emotion. When you broke down the X's and the O's in this game, and when you break down the X's and the O's for a lot of these games and the matchups, guess what? It's going to tell you the opposing team more times than not. You saw that there's issues with Devontae Smith and his size right now. You saw that there's issues with Jalen Reagor right now. And yeah, Jalen Reagor taking away snaps from Quez Watkins. That's an organizational problem from the front office telling them to play Reagor more because of where he was drafted. That can't happen. That I can criticize the front office and the playing time. No doubt about it. Like, that is unacceptable. He should not be playing over Quez Watkins. He's not ready yet. Hurts has game. Sirianni has a highlighter in his visor. Have you ever played Madden? Well, I mean, look, Jalen Hurts, he has been in a position to fail last game. The coach did not help him out at all. Every concern that we've had for Jalen Hurts, missing throws over the middle, timing being off, accuracy issues, the deep ball not being on the money. I mean, they're all there. They're all literally there. So while Nick Sirianni has been a mess, the quarterback and all of the issues that we've been wondering about have all showed up too. So both can be true. But yeah, his coach didn't help him out at all. But still, there's throws to be made out there that he's not making. Misses Dallas Goedert, pick 6 the other way. Staring down the first read. Staring at a receiver. Once that first option isn't there, he leaves the pocket, he starts running. Right? I mean, there's a lot of issues here just from the Jalen Hurts perspective that needs to change. Sixers starting lineup doesn't really scare anyone. If you collapse and double team Embiid, That puts pressure on every mediocre outside shooting. I mean, it depends. If you're talking about winning a championship, yeah. I mean, they're not going to win a championship with Maxey and Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias, and Joel. And keep in mind, when they trade Ben, they'll get someone in return. So whether it's Colin Sexton, Garland, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, whatever, whoever they end up getting, CJ McCollum, I don't know. You get somebody and you add that to your roster as well. But yeah, if you're saying championship-wise, yeah, no one's going to be scared of the Sixers to go win a championship. Could they be a 4th, 5th seed in the Eastern Conference and get to the second round, which is where they were anyway? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. The Atlanta Hawks just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, it was a miracle run. I don't anticipate them doing it again every year because they were that sensational. But at the same time, it just depends on what your perspective is. This was Hurts' first game in Jerry World. He'll be better next time. He's probably not going to have it next time, to be honest with you. Next time would mean he's playing here next year as the starting quarterback. The betting favorite right now in my brain is he's not coming back to start another game for the Philadelphia Eagles in a Dallas stadium. So, realistically, this might have been his only chance to do so. Broads, have you seen the Jason Peter highlights? No, I have not. I have not watched this. The Chicago Bears, I thought he got injured. Did he play last week? I don't even know if he played last week. I know he got injured after that one game after he got signed. Did he play this week? I mean, I really haven't even been paying attention to him at all. He's washed. Having JJ and Ward on the active roster is a waste. Cut JJ and add someone that can produce. Who? As if there's a billion options out there. I mean, at this point, you're just kind of who? Just some random scrub off the street? A Travis Fulgham? Like those type of players? I don't know. I got nothing for it. I think at some point you just reach for options because you're desperate. Greg Ward, this is what I'm saying. If you want to cut Ward, right? What type of player do you think you could pick up off the street that can contribute more than Greg Ward, who's just Mr. Reliable in the slot? They haven't used him like in years past, and they shouldn't have to use him like in years past. Now they have more speed. They have more playmakers. They're just not getting the playmakers the ball, and they're struggling to do so. But Greg Ward, that's as best as you can get. So if you found that in Greg Ward off the street, right, and that's what you have, Greg Ward, what more can you want than that in a scenario that Greg Ward was thrown into? Exactly, RJ. I couldn't agree more. We look like a young team with an entirely young coaching staff, with a young quarterback, with young playmakers that are learning how to do this job. Now, here's my problem. Why should we be settling for a head coach that's on the job learning? Now, everyone's going to learn. Everyone. You can't expect, because it's unfair, dominance right from the jump. But this is like this is a huge project. Everyone knows Nick Sirianni's not ready. This is a major project. Why does it have to be a major project? Why can't you get someone who's ready to go in there and demand a good head coach right from the jump? It's just like, all right, he's sort of if you think of like a union electrician, right? You become an apprentice, and then you're an apprentice for 5 years until you become a journeyman. It's almost like why do we have to hire an apprentice? Why can't we find and I'm not saying journeyman as if someone who's been in the league for 35 years and already had head coaching. And I'm not saying it from that perspective of an experienced head coach in the NFL who maybe failed in another city. I'm not even saying it could be somebody else out there who's just a little bit more known than Nick Sirianni, like someone who's had at least head coaching experience at the college football level or something along those lines. But we went full project so raw. Why does it have to be an apprentice? That's what's bothering me. Do you think there's a chance that we don't trade Ben? No. They won't let that happen. Look at where we are right now. They just will not let that happen. This has been to the point where Ben Simmons and Rich Paul, well, really Ben Simmons. This is all Ben Simmons. I think I feel bad for Rich Paul. Rich Paul is probably banging his head against the wall saying, why did I get into Ben Simmons? Why am I representing Ben Simmons? Why am I representing Ben Simmons? just banging his head across a mirror because it's probably stressful as hell working for a child who's so uneducated about the sport of basketball, apparently. All right, let me tell you about my friends at BetQL real quick. Do you want to get an advantage over your sports book? Of course you do. You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year. Their model covers everything: spreads, over-unders, player prop bets, and so much more. There is sharp data, so you can literally see where all the professional sports bettors are betting. You can see their numbers compared to the public. Line movements, you can jump on betting opportunities in real time. Team summaries highlighting previous success against the spread and over-unders. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now and download BetQL. You can enter the discount code BROADS at payment checkout for 25% off of any of their subscription offerings. You can find all of their information in the description below. And I do real quickly need to tell you about Orbit Energy and Power. With over 20 years of experience, Orbit Energy and Power is home to your solar experts in residential and commercial projects. At Orbit, they're dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. They provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, new